You've joined us for Ultra Life today. I'm Josh Bell, your Chief Product Evangelist, sitting here with a fascinating story that we're getting from Adam Payne about an invention that's changed the lives of so many people. Thank you.
Hey, Josh, we've last week when we were talking, or in the previous episode, so I think we'll be splitting this up into 2 different weeks. We were talking about the wonders of UltraCur curcumin and how we had developed this liquid protein scaffolding technology. And so the idea was simple, that we were taking this solubilized curcumin, and we had learned that soluble curcumin molecules, or in general polyphenolic molecules, these bioactive compounds would bind to proteins before they would bind to themselves. And so our first batch of this came in about 2012. John Chansey and I he was the horse vet that was getting the horses drunk with the ethanol tincture of curcumin, and we needed something different. So this is out of that experience came the idea to bind curcumin molecules to the protein and using that as the delivery mechanism. So we made some of this stuff. John he went to his kitchen and we solubilized the curcumin and we bound it to the protein using some unique chemistry. And we got a big bucket of this stuff, and I started sharing it with family and friends. So here's two of the stories.
So you put it in capsules and created basically a dietary supplement?
No, this was a bucket.
Really?
This was a bucket at the time.
Just a bucket of yellow free-flowing powder, right? Okay.
Yeah, this was way early on. So a friend of mine, and I'm going to call him Mr. Gray because I want to. He hasn't necessarily given me permission to talk about his story. I'm sure he wouldn't have any problem. But he was a Special Forces retired military guy. Big, strong man, just with one of those swagger walks to him, and a lovely Christian guy. I'd gone on a mission trip with him to Sierra Leone back in 2010. And I knew that he was having some problems with inflammation in his body. Specifically, he had tendinitis. And so I gave
one of the tough things to be able to conquer, right?
Tendinitis is inflammation in the tendons in the body, and there's no circulation around the tendons, right. Josh. Yeah, you don't have blood supply to the tendons. So for something to actually be effective in inflammation in the tendons, it has to diffuse through the tissues. Through the lymphatic system, through the blood vessels and capillaries. Anyways, people tend not to recover very quickly from tendinitis.
Right.
So I gave a little bucket of this orange powder to my friend Mr. Gray. Just take a small scoop in the evening and a small scoop in the morning, and mix it in with some water, and call me in a couple days.
You checked in with him 3 months later, right?
No, the next day he calls me.
That was a setup. I know this story.
The next day he calls me and says, "Adam, you're not going to believe. I mean, is it possible that this stuff you gave me could work as quickly as you said it might?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We just made this stuff, Mr. Gray. What's your experience?" And he was like, "Well, I've had horrible tendinitis for the last 6 months. I have not been able to put any pressure on my elbows without getting intense pain. And so when I get up in the morning, it's really hard to get up out of bed without putting any pressure on your elbows. Just imagine. Yep. I mean, when you get up out of your bed, most people are just push themselves up a little bit.
Another thing we take for granted.
But he would have to rock himself up and get himself in some momentum and all that stuff. But he said, I woke up in the next morning, and without thinking, I pushed myself up out of bed. And then he said, I stood there and turned around and looked at the bed and looked at my elbows. And I thought to myself, did I really just do that? And I don't remember exactly, but I think he went back down and sat down on the bed and pushed himself up again. And he's like, yeah.
That had to test his healing, right?
Yeah. Well, and then he did it, and he's like, oh my gosh. He grabbed his dumbbells because he was like, military superhero guy. And so he grabbed his dumbbells, and he was doing curls. And he was like, no pain there, which should have just been horrible.
Nice.
And he's well,
it is brutal.
he grabbed his golf balls and his golf club and went to his back porch and started chipping golf balls off his porch that morning. And then he called me. And he's like, is this possible? And I'm like, wow, I guess it is. That's really incredible. So I gave some to a friend of mine who is a 70-year-old man, just this lovely, lovely, amazing person, spiritual. He's helped thousands of people in his walk with God. But he had been a polio victim in his childhood, and it just had messed up his joints, his knees, his elbows, but specifically his knees and his joints in his feet. So I gave him some of the curcumin, the UltraCur powder, which we didn't call it UltraCur at that point. We called it UCW25 was the technical name. And he called me the next day, and he's like, Adam, did you put heroin in that powder? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
knowing
your background in the pharmaceutical industry, I bet some people thought you were slipping them a new drug.
Yeah, they did. He did.
Clinical trial,
he did. And he was like, he was like, I don't know what that stuff was, man, but I spent the day yesterday digging holes and hauling garbage out of my backyard. I haven't done that in 20 years.
How wonderful is that?
And so it was we had more stories like that, Josh. But it was those stories that struck my heart in such a profound way. I knew we had something here that was very powerful. And it started a 2-year search to create data, because I was in the biotech mindset. And I was like, well, we need to start collecting data. And we worked on bioavailability studies. We tested it, and we became human pincushions because of all the blood we would take out of ourselves to measure the bioavailability of the curcumin molecules. And we tried to get research grants and do more research on this stuff. But eventually, in 2014 rolled around, and the research wasn't going anywhere fast. Nobody would fund larger clinical studies. And a crazy Russian guy, crazy. They all are crazy, but this was a crazy Russian guy. He had his own experience of UltraCur and said, look, I want to buy this stuff and sell it in Russia. And this was before, obviously, this horrible Ukraine thing that's going on. And I was like, great. Well, I mean, we're not selling it yet, but I'm glad to, when we get ready to manufacture it in a couple of years, I'd be glad to put you in line for it. And he's like, no, I'm going to give you a check for $30,000 right now, and I want you to make this stuff for me right now. And I'm like, well, okay. But I got really excited, and I went to my partners, and we were able to set up, Josh, this was unprecedented at the time, a micro production lab based upon all of the FDA's requirements for production, which are huge. They're called the GMPs, right? Huge. Normally, it takes 2 years to set up a GMP environment. This GMP stands for Good Manufacturing Process. Years, because you have to write all of these protocols and all of these control documents. But just at that time, a company came out with they named the company Instant GMP, which sounds like a misnomer, because GMP is anything but instant. But their whole thing was that they could get us up and running in GMP within a very short period of time, and that period of time being 3 months was what it would take to get it done. My other business partners weren't that interested in doing anything that had to do with production, but because of this fat $30,000 check and the prospects of actually making some money doing this in the long run, they acquiesced, and we started manufacturing this stuff. And there were so many different things that I believe God opened the doors to make it possible for us to start manufacturing this stuff. But it really started with that one order from that crazy Russian, and it enabled us to start manufacturing what we ended up calling the UltraCur technology and being able to get it out into the world. That was in the summer of 2014. Josh, we started manufacturing it, turning it into bottles. And I'll post some pictures of what that old bottle looked like. It has nothing. It looks, you could see the heritage of UltraCur in the bottle, with the slanted lines and the smiley face on it. We wanted to borrow our brand equity from that original design. And but that was back in 2014. We started selling it on Amazon, and in 2015, Josh, is when I carved out the technology from my old company, and we started UltraBotanica, a company entirely focused on this patented technology. And eventually, by the way, we got the technology patented with the U.S. Patent Office, which is just crazy phenomenal.
Our mission is to take nature's most beloved botanicals and enhance them with our liquid protein scaffold technology. This helps it reach your cells faster and better. With exponentially enhanced bioavailability, you'll feel better every day. UltraBotanica, the feel-good curcumin.
I've been talking a lot. I don't know if I've actually gone anywhere in this discussion.
Well, it's interesting because I met you about a year and a half prior to you actually going out on your own and forming UltraBotanica.
Yeah.
And when you did, one of my dear friends that would see you sometimes at a prayer breakfast for men said, Josh, you have this amazing background with a natural product that was relieving not tens or 100,000 people, but millions of people's pain by rubbing it on the skin. And he said, I just think there's something between you and Adam. You need to go back and see what he's doing with this curcumin technology. And I was immediately fascinated because since I was 16, I'm 62 now, I absolutely love these types of God-given ingredients and innovations. And I love seeing people do things that I kind of feel like are in the spirit of cooperating with what God has placed on the planet.
Yeah.
So you and I met, and we talked a little bit, and I kind of interviewed you that time. I wanted to hear this story, this origin story, because that's always very important to me.
I'm sure it's evolved a little bit over time, you know.
Well, I loved the science. I loved everything about it. But the cool part was that I got to... you gave me a bottle of that when we parted ways, and you had no idea. You just said, hey, you want to try this stuff? And I said,
Yep.
Sure. And then, of course, my story is 5 years of terrible pain in my hips, stiffness, mobility.
So, Josh, tell us a little bit about that experience. I mean, when did this horrible pain in your hips start, and how debilitating was it for you?
It was like a mystery to me, Adam, and that was what was so difficult. I exercised regularly. I ate a phenomenal diet. I took supplements. I used green superfoods. I didn't eat at McDonald's or drink soft drinks or anything. And it just began to creep on me. And all of a sudden, it's like one day I'm trying to get out of bed in the morning, and then I'm trying to get in and out of my car. Wow. And if I sat for a period of time just on like any hard chair was out of the question. People would always ask me when I'm in a business meeting, I'd have to stand up and walk around the room and stretch. And it just got worse and worse. And I felt like an old man. And this was, now it's been, 7 years ago, Adam. I was feeling like an old man, and it was frustrating, and no doctor could really tell me what was going on. Hey, we can give you steroid shots.
No. I mean, when you're feeling like an old man, it was just that it was so painful to move. Did you have full range of motion?
Oh, the only thing that would help was stretching. But if I sat like in my car for a 30-minute car drive, when I got up out of the car, I looked like one of those elderly people that's grabbing everything in place and moving slowly and then standing up, and then I'd have to start moving to kind of get going again. It was horrible. And unbeknownst to you, that was going on with me when we parted ways.
For 5 years?
Full day. 5 years, yeah.
5 years.
And so
5 years.
There's an interesting correlation because, 5 years, and on the bottle it said, you said to me, take a couple of capsules twice a day and see, and I said, great.
So you took 5, right?
You still didn't know what was going on with me, but it's so interesting. 5 years of pain, and 5 days later, I am basically pain-free, and I am mystified and excited and thinking, what in the world can we do? When I interviewed you that day, Adam, I said to you, tell me what your mission is with this product. And I never forget a really good, simple mission statement. You said, I want to help as many people as I can with this product. It's like, that is the best mission statement ever. And we got back together and we figured out that, people get such quick results with UltraCur. Why don't we let them try the product free of charge? And, you didn't have any money at that time. I didn't have any money at that time. And we're like, well, I guess we could afford to give away 3 days worth at a time.
Right.
And so many people were calling you the next day or the second day or the third day. So we did that. We put out these FDA compliant little sample cards, and I started scurrying all over Oklahoma City and meeting with compounding pharmacists and licensed clinical nutritionists and independent health food store owners.
Yeah.
And I said, look, you know about curcumin, right? And they all went, raw, we love curcumin. And I said, you do? And I'm looking at their shelves, and they're selling several different brands. And I said, how well is it working for your people that are dealing with daily chronic pain and mobility issues? Add them to a man or woman. Every one of them did this. Man.
Yeah.
I see. That's so in Spanish. It's like, and if we see results, they said, it takes a long time.
Yeah,
sometimes
it can take weeks.
Sometimes 30, 60 days.
Yeah.
So I said, well, here's what you do. Find your 5 closest friends or loved ones that are right here in town, or they may be patients of yours. They may be customers of your pharmacy. Take just 5 of these, only give 1 to each person, and then let them tell you if it works for them for their daily chronic pain issues. And as you know, a dear friend of ours now, Keith Bishop at Flourish Pharmacy, literally called me 5 days later and placed a very large order for a first order. It was shocking. And he's like, it works. It works on basically everything.
It's funny, Josh. I mean, there's a couple of stores here in our local marketplace in Oklahoma City that used to carry a whole bunch of different curcumin products. Lou Phillips, our lovely Lou Phillips.
Carried the #1 selling brand.
Oh, and not just that.
That literally was doing $30 to $40 million at the time.
Right. I mean, Lou Phillips plays Medic Pharmacy, Innovative Pharmacy, Flourish Pharmacy. These are major compounding pharmacies here in Oklahoma City. They're all carrying multiple different brands of curcumin. And I don't know if they're carrying anything but UltraCur right now.
Well, even if they have something else on the shelf, guess what they do when people walk in the door?
Tell them, you don't want this one. It's not going to work.
Adam, I was literally talking to one of the lead supplement people at Atkins Health Food Stores today on the phone.
Oh, really?
And she said, Josh, we are addicted to this stuff. We love this stuff. People walk in the door. If we see them moving toward the shelf where there's pain-relieving curcumin products, under that pain relief banner there, they said, we intercept them. She literally did. It's like, no, we don't want you to waste your money. We intercept them and say, have you tried this stuff? Now, the other cool thing is they have a lot of people walking in saying, hey, a friend told me about this. Can I try this? Can I try this free of charge? And they go, yes, let us go get you one.
That's awesome.
They become evangelists. Everyone
That's awesome, Josh.
And they use it themselves because it's changed their life.
Yeah, it changed my life. I mean, I can't play worship music without taking UltraCur. If I forget to take it right after I start playing, I mean, I can wait till 5 minutes after I'm starting to play to take it. If I forget to take it, I can only play for 20 minutes. If I take UltraCur right when I start, I can play all night.
Take off.
And the only difference is whether I have UltraCur on board in my body. It'll slow down a little bit of the absorption if I got food in my stomach.
Right.
But in reality, it doesn't slow it down that much. It's truly a transformational technology. God has brought you and I both on such an amazing journey to get us to where we're at, to where we are able, Josh, to offer and provide free samples of this technology to anybody that wants to try it. And, if you're in the Tulsa area, you can go to any one of the Atkins locations, or Rock Creek Herb in Sapulpa, or Billy's Health Food Store, or Next Gen RR. In Oklahoma City, there's tons of different locations around here.
20 plus locations around the metro area.
Or go to our store locator on our website at ultratoday.com. and see the places that you can get a free sample. If you're willing to pay a little bit of postage, you can order a free sample from our website. We're not asking you to just believe that UltraCur, the liquid protein scaffolding technology, is the best technology out there. We invested in these free samples so you can try it and see for yourself. That's how much we believe in this stuff. What other company can say anything about how quickly their curcumin product or technology works? Are they willing to give samples to people so that they can try it to see if they have experience of curcumin? It doesn't happen. There's one other technology out there made by a Danish company that's, I think, kind of close to how well our technology works. And my friend John Chansey is working on another technology that eventually might hit the marketplace that will be similar in efficacy to what ours does. But you don't have to wait for John's, and you don't have to pay for the Danish technology to try it and see if it works for you. You can actually get a free sample of ours to see for yourself.
Yeah, and if you're a mission-minded person like everybody on this broadcast right now, we love serving other people. You may be thinking right now of a father, mother, grandmother, grandfather, favorite aunt, someone you go to church with, someone you golf with, someone you play tennis with. You can go to any one of these locations and you can actually pick up a free 3-day trial for them and bring it to them, or you can order it off the website just by paying shipping and send it to someone across the country. It's an awesome thing to help someone that's in pain and dealing with mobility issues.
Yeah, it's a gift. It's really part of the mission of who Ultra Botanica is and why we continue to flourish and serve our communities. We really would welcome you if you do know people that are in pain. You reach out to us. We'd love to get you samples so you can share the UltraCur experience with them. Give us a call at 405 694-4729 during our live portion of our radio broadcast, or during the week when we're not live on the air at 405-694-4175. Josh, this has been fun. We need to do some more of this stuff.
I love origin stories. I feel like I'm living in a comic book today, Adam. It's just awesome. So anyway, you have joined Adam Payne and myself, Josh Bellew. Ultra Life Today is the broadcast. Join us again. We'll be really doing some great interviews with some innovative people in the future that will help you restore your health. And UltraCur is a part of everyone's journey. Like our friend Kyle Drew says, it's the everybody, everyday, feel-good curcumin. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Ultra Life Today. Join us for the live portion.
Thank you, Josh. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Have a good day.